Okay, guys, tonight's dinner is meatloaf with mac and cheese bites from Trader Joe's. I got my skillet heating a little too hot. Probably ruined that pan also. Um, so I have 2 pounds of ground beef, actually thawing. But I chop up some peppers and I chop up some onions nice and fine because boys don't like to bite into it and then they can't pull it out when it's really little. And then I'm going to saute them in the pan with some spray olive oil that I got from Trader Joe's. This recipe, sorry about that. So when me and my husband first moved in with each other, he loves meatloaf. And so this was his mother's recipe. I asked her, how do you make it then? Because he loves it. And when I made the meatloaf, I added sofrito to it, and it just didn't taste the same to him because I did it Puerto Rican style. So I asked her, how do you do it? So she sautés some onions and peppers, and, in a greased pan, and adds that to the meat, and breadcrumbs and eggs and stuff like that. And then I kind of developed my own. So this is the beginning of what she does. So I'm going to get these heated up and then I'll show you the rest of the steps. So there's the meat, 2 pounds of 80/20. This one happens to be Trader Joe's. That is the sauteed peppers and onions. I probably should have put more. Don't know what I was thinking, but sometimes I do put more. But that's the chopped up peppers and onions. And then for each pound, I put about half a cup of breadcrumbs. This happens to be some leftover beer bread. The beer bread mix was from Trader Joe's that I bought last year. Finally made it. So I had some leftover, so I just crumbled that up because it crumbles pretty well. I'm going to put 1 egg per pound, so that's going to be 2 eggs. I'll do that when I have 2 hands. I'm going to put a nice amount of salt. That's about 1 tablespoon. A little more pinchy. Then what I do is I also add my flaxseed. I have ground flaxseed that I keep in the refrigerator. And I probably put about maybe 3 tablespoons or 1/4 of a cup. Flaxseed adds extra omega-3s as well as fiber. Everyone needs fiber. Gives you some smooth moves. And then some milk. I don't really measure, I kind of pour. So now what happens is that the breadcrumbs absorb the milk. Yeah, that's bad enough. The breadcrumbs absorb the milk and it kind of keeps the meatloaf moist inside. So now my mother-in-law did not add the flax seeds. I did that. And she did not add the milk either. So I actually added that. And then I'm gonna crack the 2 eggs. Oops. So my 2 eggs are in there. I'm gonna mix this up by hand and form it into probably 2 patties, 2 football-shaped meatloaves. When I have time, maybe I'll do one when you have that time for it to cook because it'll take longer to cook. But then I might do 2 or 3 smaller ones just so that it cooks faster because it's a weeknight. So I'll do that, get that all going. So now that they're both formed, I decided to do 2. Guess I could have done 3. But then what my mother-in-law used to do is she used to just drizzle or brush it with ketchup before she baked it. And then a friend of mine said they add barbecue sauce. So they actually brush barbecue sauce on it first and then add the ketchup on top of that. So we've adopted that part of it. So I added that to the recipe. And she also puts that friend, not my mother-in-law, but the friend of ours said she also puts bacon over it. But with 80/20, there's already a lot of fat. And, I do like bacon. I just don't like bacon in a lot of dishes. I like bacon with eggs for breakfast, and I like BLTs, but, I don't like bacon on my jalapenos and bacon wrapped dates and bacon cheeseburgers, and I don't like dishes that have bacon added to it. I just find it's just salty, and then too many flavors kind of takes away from what you're actually eating. So I don't do the bacon. So you could do the bacon if you want, but I don't do the bacon. So there's the barbecue sauce. Just gonna toss that in the sink. I made it. And then I do a ketchup drizzle, make it look pretty. Nice ketchup drizzle across the top. And then I have my oven preheating to 415 actually. I want these to cook pretty quick. And then I'm gonna put broccoli and some zucchini to roast for the vegetable part of it. So yes, that's our meatloaf, which is probably our favorite meal, well, one of the favorite meals in the house. And then the mac and cheese bites I'm going to do in the air fryer. And that's dinner tonight. So there are my vegetables, the zucchini squash and the broccoli. I drizzled it with olive oil, and I put some of my adobo spice blend in it. And now I'm just going to stick it in the oven. Can I do this with one hand? Oh my God, yes I can. So there it goes, right next to the meatloaf. And I usually, to make sure that the meatloaf is done, sometimes I cut it in half or use a meat thermometer. So I'm probably going to use a meat thermometer. But yep, that's it. Now we just wait. There it is, all sizzling and done. I used a meat thermometer. My veggies are all cooked. And I still have half the mac and cheese balls in the air fryer, but there's the other half. So I'm going to start plating it up for dinner. There it is, all plated. Meatloaf, mac and cheese balls from Trader Joe's, and broccoli with adobo seasoning blend, which is basically garlic powder and oregano. This by far is probably our favorite meal. A lot of times we make it with the green beans, roasted green beans, but this has not been made in this house probably since April, since before the hot weather came. So we are really excited about it.